Kristen and Rachel are with Modern Acupuncture right here with 2 locations in the Houston area. We're going to find out about acupuncture and so much more. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's awesome, and I'm fresh from my first acupuncture treatment. Well, I say fresh, it's been about a week. So, Kristen, let's tell people about your company and the 2 locations.
Sure. We have, it's Modern Acupuncture, modernacupuncture.com, and we have 2 locations, one in River Oaks at West Gray and Shepherd. Second location is at the Memorial area, Bunker Hill and I-10. We opened the River Oaks location in 2018, so we've been around for a little over 4 years.
And as far as the I-10, that's where I first found out about you. How long has that been open?
We opened that in 2020, right before quarantine.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Business challenges.
But about 2 years, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And as far as acupuncture, I guess there's people listening right now that get regular treatments, have been using this technique for years. And then there's also people like me. I'd never had a treatment until just 2 weeks ago. So let's give people an idea of what it is in case they're mystified by it. And I bet a few people are.
You're exactly right. When we first bought this franchise and were introduced to the concept, we learned that maybe 5% of Americans had even tried acupuncture. They've heard about it. They didn't know a lot about it. And part of our process is educating people on what it does. And Rachel can kind of talk to a little bit more specifics on what it treats. I think people think, oh, it might treat my back pain. It might treat my knee pain. And it does. But it does a lot more than just chronic pain.
Well, on that note, Rachel, let's tell people you are a practitioner. Is that the correct word?
Yes, I'm Dr. Rachel Eckroth, practitioner or licensed acupuncturist. Mm-hmm.
So as far as the process and why it works, let's tell people about that.
Well, acupuncture works basically sort of in a broad sense through the nervous system, both central and autonomic. And when we insert the needles, a signal is sent to the brain, and the brain responds with things like increasing blood flow, facilitating the healing response, releasing our endogenous feel-good chemicals, and various other, a myriad of body functions.
When we talk about the central nervous system, and the other is called what other kind of?
Autonomic.
And what is that one, by the
So
way?
that
It sounds like it's automatic.
Right. Controls the involuntary things,
Our
things like
beating.
heartbeat, yeah.
Okay, so when we think about any nervous system, the first thing that comes to my mind is it's like a highway. So there's the nerves that go throughout the body to the tip of our fingers, I suppose, right? Explain how that system works.
So
and how acupuncture helps it.
So acupuncture is one mode of traditional Chinese medicine. So I'll say TCM for short. And the theory or the basis of it is that there are meridians, sort of channels of energy flowing through the body. And so those in general correspond to what we say in Western medicine as the nerve pathways.
As far as the many things that you could be doing in life, and I looked at your Facebook page, I think you were a dancer, maybe you still dance. What was it about acupuncture where you said, hey, this is going to be my profession?
I wanted to get into holistic healing, and I was really interested in herbal therapy, which is another part of TCM, but you can't do herbal therapy without acupuncture, and I got introduced basically to the theories, and I fell in love, and I was there. And I was still actually performing at the time when I was going to school, and so it was very helpful for me to get acupuncture because I was kind of an older performer, and so I had a lot of aches and pains.
Look at that old to me. Just saying, those that tune into the YouTube video that we make here on every show, you seem like as they say, a spring chicken. Young. But as far as dance, that's it's like an athlete too, so you have that. But as far as the training, you just don't become an acupuncturist overnight. So tell people a little bit about the training, because that was something that surprised me.
Yeah. So after your bachelor's degree, you go to school for 4 years, and that you get a master's in acupuncture, and you can be licensed at that point. You take board exams, and you're licensed by the Texas Medical Board. But then after that, you can get your doctorate, which is about another year and a half.
We're talking with Dr. Rachel Eckroth with Modern Acupuncture, and you are practicing at the, is that the right term, practicing?
Yes.
At the River Oaks location.
Correct.
And as I looked at the website, Kristen, you have a team of people at both locations, and you also, on your website, you have a description of each person, and their credentials are very impressive. So I think, and I looked at that before I went in the first time, and it's fascinating. Let's tell people just from the business standpoint. We're hearing about restaurants, any kind of business. It's hard to find good help right now.
Absolutely. And I feel very fortunate to
How
have.
do you do that?
Well, I think part of it is we have one of the best acupuncture schools in Houston. So we have a good pool of acupuncturists in the Houston area. And so I'm very thankful for that. I've been fortunate to have 7 acupuncturists on staff that are amazing. Rachel's been with us since we opened 2018. She's our lead. Marie is one of our lead acupuncturists at the Bunker Hill location.
That's how I saw Marie.
Yep, yeah, you saw Marie. She treated you. So really, our staff and our acupuncturist staff is critical in this industry.
Because unlike a lot of businesses, the practitioner is really the key. Now, I will say to those that have not been to Modern Acupuncture, any of your locations, that the environment also is a very nice thing that I experienced. It's relaxing, comfortable, pleasant as you look around. So that's a good thing as well. However, it's really what happens with the practitioner, I think. Right.
Part of our draw to Modern Acupuncture was based on the environment. When I had gone to acupuncture, a clinic, it was great. I had a great experience. I was first introduced to it about 11 years ago. And it was a medical, clinical type setting. I sat on a table with a paper on the table. It wasn't very comfortable. It worked. It was effective. But it wasn't relaxing as much as our site or our clinic is. We have more of a spa-like setting. It's community, which makes it affordable. And it's relaxing, it's healing. We're doing the exact same thing that you would do in another clinical type setting, but just a different environment. ModernAcupuncture.com.
And when you use the term spa-like setting, that's the setting many of us want to be in, no matter what's going on, because this is a pretty crazy world. And guess what? We're in the 4th largest city right here, Houston. People are coming. I don't know what the last figure, 1,000 a day. There's people coming like crazy here. So the good news is that's great for business. Whatever business we're in, it gives us an opportunity. The flip side, it's great for your business because I think in the hustle and bustle, having a spa-like setting in a treatment that can be beneficial, that's pretty good and a good business idea to be a part of it on your part.
Yeah, we are super excited about this idea. It's neat. We see a lot of patients that come during their lunch break. They can come 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute session. Rachel will assess them. She'll needle them for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then they're asleep in that chair for 20 minutes. But they're not having to go home and take a shower or change or anything like that. They can go straight back to work. They feel rejuvenated, energized, maybe a little more clear-minded and productive.
And you mentioned your first experience. Did you get your first treatment in life, you say, about 11 years ago?
Yes. Well, actually, 13 years ago.
And was that here in Houston? Here
in Houston. Actually, I was referred by a fertility doctor, and he refers a lot of patients to do acupuncture during a fertility cycle. So I took his advice, and after many rounds of in vitro prior to acupuncture, that was by far my best one. And so I was also having back pain in addition to that. So it was all encompassing. It helped both. And so that was how I was originally introduced to it.
The other thing I'm thinking about is the potential marketplace for the services that you have at Modern Acupuncture. It's pretty good here in Houston, I'm guessing.
Yes. We're the first mainstream acupuncture business in Houston. And so we were fortunate to find 2 great locations that are accessible to a lot of Houston people. We're on the west side of town. We're on the east side of town. We hope to have a few more locations. ModernAcupuncture.com. We have another location that's not ours, but it's in Kingwood, so on the north side.
From the staffing strategy of a business, and in particular your business, you have acupuncturists, some are doctors, but also the other staff, you have. Who else do you have there?
We call it our Zen Advisors.
Zen Advisors. Okay.
And they're the front desk staff. So I have 2 managers. I have one at River Oaks and one at Bunker Hill. You met Kristen.
I didn't meet him, but the day I went in, but I will tell you,
Okay.
I'll tell the listeners, as I told you right before we started recording, and that's such again, going back to a business, having the right people in the right positions in any company is so important. I would have not gone to your location, thus we wouldn't be talking here today probably, if Christian did not do such a great job of answering my questions, because I didn't know anything about acupuncture. He was very nice, and he was not in a hurry. He answered my questions, and even when I had the question, he was like, is there anything else you need to know? And then I said, no, I think I'm good. Thank you very much. He said, now, if there's anything else, just give me a call back. So he went above and beyond all a Ritz-Carlton type of service. You've been at a Ritz lately?
Good.
There's no bad Ritz because they go above and beyond. So as far as Christian goes, hats off to him. He's incredible.
It's great to
and
hear.
Makes me want to call your River Oaks location to see who I get on the phone, and I'll put them through the paces.
Well, good. That's good to hear. Part of our biggest hurdle is educating patients. So having somebody like Christian that takes the time to answer the questions and alleviates any fears that somebody might have about the perception of needles.
The whole idea of needles, because how many times you hear people, oh, I hate needles.
Exactly.
Right? But
Rachel
this is a
hears
whole
that all
different
the
thing.
time.
So, Rachel, let's talk a little bit. I'm going to needle you. No, let's talk a little bit about the needles. They're needles, but they're not the kind of needles we're afraid of, right?
Right,
Would
right.
that be safe to say? Tell us about it.
They're called filiform, so it's just a solid piece of stainless steel, whereas the needles that you get blood drawn with or get an injection, those are hypodermic, so they have a hole in them. So when
they're big.
Well, they don't have to be that big, but they tear a hole in your skin, but these just go in the holes that are already in your skin.
That's a good way to put it,
Yeah.
because when you magnify the skin, there's pores, thus the holes. So these go in. You're trained to put them into the existing pores. Would that be right?
Right. I'm trying to put them into the skin painlessly.
So when let's tell people the things that you most often hear. You're going to treat in a given week X amount of people. They're going to come in and they're going to say, hey, Rachel, here, I'm back, or I'm here for the first time. What are the things that people seek you out for as far as the conditions? Oh, my back hurts, or I want to be able to think clear. I want better service. What are the things?
I would say mostly
Top three.
Top three, pain, the various things that relate to stress, which is sleep, busy mind.
I can't turn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So poor sleep due to a busy mind, anxiety, stress and anxiety, and then digestive function.
And when you talk about pain, it sounds like that's maybe the top one. Pain where? Back pain or just everywhere?
Anywhere, everywhere. So tooth pain, headaches, back pain, ankle pain,
You treat a lot of migraines.
lots of migraines.
So then how is it people would want to know, okay, you do things, and I'm guessing that when you put the needle in to the pore of the skin, how do you know where to put it? And when you put it in the right place, once you know where that is, going to the school for those many years, how does that help the given situation as far as having that little series of needles?
Right. So what
How's it work?
happens? So like you said, we know where to put them because we go to school for a long time to learn these points. And then after a while, as you practice, you can. It's almost like you can feel where to put them. And then once you insert the needles, it kind of creates a micro trauma, and that's what sends the signal to the brain, and the brain says, okay, I need to get to work. I need to, send the endogenous chemicals that reduce pain. Or I need to send the chemicals that help you balance stress, quiet your mind, that kind of thing.
And then each person that you see obviously is different, has a different body, all those things. So again, to the placement of the needles, how do you look at someone, how long does it take you to assess, okay, let's say I'm here for hand pain. My hand hurts, I've been overused, I've been working. Someone comes in for that, how do you know where to put them when you look at the person's physical shape and those things?
So if we are, say you have a hand pain, we'll take this example. I'll ask you, the questions, where does it hurt? But I'll also do other things like look at your tongue, feel your pulse to sort of determine the type of pain. In TCM, we differentiate pain different ways. And so that's all a part of how we treat. So it's not just, I have a pain right here in the center of my hand. I've got to say, okay, well, is that pain a result of what we call blood stagnation, or is it dampness? So we have different ways of differentiating pain in any other disease. And it's kind of complicated when you try to suddenly tell somebody who's very familiar with Western medicine, the differences. So we keep those, try to keep it a little short and brief, but give you still an explanation of what's going on. So we try to educate every patient that's coming in what's going on with their body.
In any profession, ongoing training, ongoing research has to take place. As an acupuncturist, what are the things that you're doing to stay on top of it, new developments, or, hey, we found out it's good for something new? What are you doing there? And is there a trade show that you go to?
So every acupuncturist has to complete hours of continuing education every 2 years. We have to turn it in. And then Modern Acupuncture also does a really great job of forwarding the latest in the research.
Kristen, they've been telling me there's been some kind of pandemic. Some businesses were shut down. So when it first happened, when this virus came upon us, when it was a big deal where we didn't know a lot of things,
right?
Businesses were shut down. What happened to your business? How did you overcome that as a business person to be able to say, oh, man, I just invested this money. I have people that are depending on a living. What happened? How'd you get through it? That's a challenge.
It was a challenge. We stayed closed the minimum time that we had to stay closed. And
how long was that about, roughly?
5 to 6 weeks, maybe. Mm-hmm. So we did that.
Doors were shut.
Doors were shut. And then we started gradually bringing everyone back and realizing, people need this, especially now. They needed it for their immune system. They needed it for stress, anxiety. So we started opening the doors. It was very painful for several months and very slow, but it gradually started picking back up. And I would say this finally, towards the tail end of 2021, we're starting to see a patient level that we were seeing before pandemic, which is good news.
The day I went in, I'm going to say about half of the chairs were full.
Good. We still are distancing some, and so we're trying to space it, and we have our schedule spaced out so we're not overcrowding the room when we can. But yeah, so we can see up to 8 an hour, but we will likely see 4 to 8 an hour depending on how many acupuncturists we have working that day. And we can see, 30 to 40 a day if we're full.
So that's a nice healthy flow. And then going back to the opportunity here in this city, you have a lot of opportunity because I'm going to guess there's a lot of people that don't know about it. Now, as people are listening, they're going to know a little bit more, those that are listening to the show, but a lot of people don't know about it, and they're intrigued, and here you are.
Yes.
So you're available for them.
We are. We're available, and we're open every day.
Every day? Sunday.
Every day. We are closed at Bunker Hill on Sunday, but we are open at River Oaks on Sunday. So there's always an opportunity.
And then you mentioned the immune system. So I'm not a doctor. If you're out there, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lot of things. However, one of the things is it would seem to me what's ever good for your general health, whether it's taking a vitamin, whether it's exercising, is good for your immune system.
Yes.
I mean, the body, and even as we talked, Rachel, about the connections with the pathways to the brain and nerves, the body, if something's good for the body, it must have some kind of help the total system and all the systems in the body, including the immune system.
Well, in acupuncture, one thing that I guess a myth is that you have a pain, you come in, you're treated, and you're fixed. Acupuncture is really a lifestyle change, and it's being healthy and doing this weekly to maintain that level of health and healthy immune system, lower stress level, which obviously impacts your immune, your pain, your anything that's going wrong, I guess, in your body. So we try to encourage our patients to come address the issue at hand, but then stay and come weekly, come every other week to really maintain that level of health and not let it go away and stay at the place that your goal was.
So then that's a good thing as far as when you go in. It's also, I think, something to look forward to. Now, I would look forward to my next visit because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, this is something that could help me, but also I'm thinking and picture in my mind the destination, the relaxed atmosphere, the soft music, I don't know what the decorations on the wall were, but they were pretty cool. They put me in a certain state. I don't know how you did that. Is the River Oaks one like that too?
They're the exact same.
Okay,
yes, we have TVs with just a very, very beautiful scene on there.
Very colorful. The birds.
Yes.
I was watching those birds.
It makes you, it kind of puts you in a place where can I go next on my vacation?
Exactly. In fact, what I was doing was alternating between having my eyes open and looking at the colors on the screen and listening to the music, then also closing my eyes and relax. Yeah, it was a very nice experience for about, I don't know if I was there an hour or 50 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah. It's
probably
nice
not that long, but most of our patients fall asleep after their treatment.
And she took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was low. She took it when we started, and then when I was finished, I said, hey, by the way, take it now. Let's see, just to see the difference. It was lower.
Yes. And that quite a few of our patients are blood pressure related patients.
So they've come in to have a lower blood pressure.
Yes.
So as you look from a business standpoint, here you are, the 2 locations, River Oaks. Let's tell people also the website before we go any further.
Okay, it's modernacupuncture.com. And if you go to the locations, you can just type in your zip code and it'll automatically pull up probably our 2 locations, the Bunker Hill and River Oaks location.
Modernacupuncture.com. And
yes.
This is also good exercise for people to learn how to spell acupuncture.
Yes.
So that's easy to do, or they just Google Modern Acupuncture. You could be driving. It's too easy.
Exactly.
So as you look ahead from the business standpoint, Kristen, we're talking with Kristen O'Pry. When you look ahead, what are the things you're thinking? Well, hopefully this thing's behind us, this disruption to our lives. But when you look ahead, 2022, you put on the 2022 vision glasses. What are you seeing as you talk from a business standpoint about how to make this thing thrive and go further and help people?
We are definitely looking for opportunities to grow. I think one of our biggest opportunities is the medical field. We have an opportunity, especially at the Bunker Hill location with Memorial Hermann being right there, to really expand into the medical field. MD Anderson has acupuncturists on staff that they recommend their patients to go to. Unfortunately, they have so many patients and so few acupuncturists. So we also get an overflow from the MD Anderson hospital for patients that see us. So I really think we have an opportunity in the medical field. The Western medical and the Eastern Chinese medicine really work very well together. And I think that's something that we're finally recognizing over here in the United States, that how acupuncture really complements the treatment that you're receiving from your doctors here. And we're not negating what they're doing here. We want to work with them hand in hand.
In fact, as I was preparing, I was looking on the internet, YouTube, a lot of answers on YouTube, as we all know. Some of them are even correct. But one of the things that they were talking about acupuncture, and I forget the term, it's exactly what you said, how it is, there's a term, but how it works with other things that you're doing.
Yes.
For your body. Regular medicine, this. So I forget what that's called.
Complementary alternative medicine.
Yeah,
probably.
but it's like you have a lot of things that you want to do. And, of course, for health, I'm going to say it again. I mentioned exercise. Hey, you need to exercise. I don't care what you're doing or what's wrong. As much as possible, we want to get exercise, get out there, move around. That gets the blood going too, right?
Exactly. And just how you mentioned exercise being something that you have to keep up for your physical health.
There you go.
Acupuncture, same thing. You don't just one and done really anything to maintain your health. So acupuncture, it's good to get it weekly or biweekly.
And when we talk about that, as far as the business standpoint and the cost of your treatments at both locations, again, Bunker Hill, River Oaks, let's tell people, Kristen, how much it costs and the kind of expectations from the cost standpoint. And by the way, I got in there, you had some kind of super deal. That's the other thing that brought me in. I thought, wow, that is a great pricing for someone to come in and see what it's about.
Well, we wanted to limit the barrier. If you didn't know what acupuncture was or you haven't tried it before, we didn't want cost to stand in your way. We wanted you to be able to try it. Our walk-in is $80, but we offer a 60% discount on that, which is $29 for any first-time patient. Once you come in and you decide this is something I want to do, I want to pursue, I want to try it, we have plans and packages that really give you about a 50% discount off the walk-in. So it can range from $25 a visit to $40 a visit, which is, I would say the best price in town for receiving the same service you can receive at any acupuncture clinic.
And going back to, as I said in the beginning, the staff that you have, you really have tremendous people. And that in itself, from a business standpoint, I don't know how you do that. That is very difficult to have the right people, maintain the right people, keep the right people, and get positive feedback from your customers.
Yes, I think staffing is one of the biggest challenges in owning a business, and I feel very fortunate.
Especially now.
Yeah, exactly. Our acupuncture staff is amazing. Staffing our front desk and having the best customer service, that's a challenge. And finding the right people, I feel we've got 3 staff right now that are awesome, and we're looking for more too.
And the website again is?
ModernAcupuncture.com. ModernAcupuncture.com.
The other thing, when I went to Bunker Hill, easy parking, no real hurdles. And that's any more these days, parking, whether it's a restaurant or anything else, it's like, oh man, is it going to be a hassle just to park to do what I'm going to do?
No, we're easy to find.
Easy to find, easy to park. Also, Rachel, what are some of the other things we should know from your standpoint, as you are actually the person, the practitioner, the doctor of acupuncture at the River Oaks location?
So one of the things I really enjoy about this type of clinic, which is a community-style practice, I like it that people will be in there at the same time, but with partitions. But there's also, we deal in energy a lot. We like to think about energy. And so a communal experience of acupuncture, I think, works really well for patients, especially first-timers who might be a little uncomfortable. They feel a little bit more secure when they see everybody else getting it and sleeping so peacefully. So I think that's a really, really good thing about acupuncture. What you'll get out of it is such a sense of well-being that will stay with you until your next visit, at least.
All of a sudden, I'm hearing spa music in the background in my own head, but that's a whole nother, I don't know if you can cure that, but just saying. Before we close this segment, Kristen O'Pry, you're the owner of Modern Acupuncture, River Oaks, Bunker Hill. Let's tell people, what else do you want people to know?
Well, we want you to come try it. We think it's something I have a very strong conviction for the practice. I can personally tell you that I've tried it. I've loved it. It's been effective. We're affordable. We think that to maintain your health, you shouldn't be spending hundreds of dollars to be able to maintain it. So we want to make it easy for you, accessible, and affordable.
In fact, you really have done that. In fact, as far as the pricing, the introduction price, and having your people answer the questions at the very first. Now, you may have people that walk in and ask questions. For me, I looked on the internet and I was on the telephone. That's where I asked my questions. Let's tell people the phone numbers as well.
Sure. The River Oaks phone number is 713-677-0551, and we're located at the corner of West Gray and Shepherd, right across the street from Barnes & Noble. And our Bunker Hill location is located in the HEB Shopping Center at Bunker Hill and I-10, and that phone number is 346-867-1998.
And the website again is?
ModernAcupuncture.com. ModernAcupuncture.com.
I'm thinking about the River Oaks location in that a great day would be get the treatment and then head over to one of the many restaurants. Some of my favorite restaurants are right over there in that River Oaks Center. So
we have lots over there, yes.
I'm getting hungry as I think about that. Also, Rachel, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
I want people to know that acupuncture is a painless way to maintain health and improve health. And so you don't need to be afraid of needles. Just come on in and give it a shot, and you'll really, it's life-changing.
That is awesome. Thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Kristen O'Pry, Rachel
Eckroth.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. We're coming right back after this.